Thank you. When you enter this room, you probably saw this big construction back there. This is probably the most apparent part of our installation. We built this modular octagonal room. It's made of wood and fabric, and its main purpose is to separate the inner world from the outside. And as all this is kind of mysterious back there, we just want to reveal everything to you. So here's an overview of the basic construction. So we have 8 walls and boards where we place the speakers and so on. So the main purpose is to separate the inner world from the outside. So the visitor should not be distracted from any influences from the outside. He or she should fully immerse into the experience in the installation. Also, there's only a very, very tiny door leading in the inside of the installation. It will be opened from the outside, so leaving the installation is just for escaping, and that's not an option for the visitor. The whole installation, as you see it back there, can be regarded an organism. But it seems to be turned inside out. The black concealing outside is inside, and the vulnerable wiring you can see is on the outside. From a technical perspective, the walls also form the frame for the technical devices that are needed in the installation. The position tracking sensors are mounted to the walls, speakers are placed on the corners, and a lot of wiring is put around it. In order for a visitor to act in this room, we need an interface. The interface is provided by sensors. The interaction between the visitor and the installation, between the visitor and this artificial organism which is in this installation, your other, is one of the key concepts of T3H. This interaction does not consist of certain actions that evoke predictable or at least obvious reactions, but it consists just of the being of 2 organisms, you and your other. In the installation, we are not using gestures or tactile usage interface, but rather we rely on signals that you cannot influence directly, like your heartbeat. Those values are the mere result of your existence in this space. The installation can perceive the visitor's signals through some sensors that can be regarded the senses of this organism. Through the interaction, the visitor becomes an integral part of the installation. Even more, it creates art. The electrical signals in your body are a consequence of your vital body functions. They represent our body's activity and state. Even more, emotional conditions and thoughts are represented in those signs. However, in this installation, we defunctionalize those body signals. That means that we don't regard heartbeat as a mere rhythm of a blood pump anymore, but as a means to express yourself. In this example, for the heartbeat, this is the program that catches the heartbeat, we get electrical signals from electrodes we place on the skin. Some of you already experienced this. And from those signals, a digitizer creates discrete values, which are then sent to this program via Bluetooth. And up there, the box that is up, you can see a signal that is already a bit cleaned, but that's basically what we get. Actually, that's what we got in the testing phase, so that's my heart beating there. In the real life, when you're in there and just moving and so on, it's a lot more noisy. So this is the challenge we have here, to get the noise out of the signal. So that happens behind the scenes here, and down there you see this curve, actually this bump, for example, is me jumping around in my room like crazy and raising my heartbeat just for testing. So this is how this works. Initially, we also wanted to use brainwave sensors. Ran already mentioned this, but after some time of investigation about how to interpret those signals, it turned out that without really professional signal processing, it's impossible to get any reasonable data from it. Especially the signal-noise ratio is just too small. Thus, we decided not to use those brainwave sensors as any input, sadly. So that's something we did not achieve. The position tracking is a component that is also not completely obvious to the visitor, because on the one hand, the room is even and dark and there are no marks for orientation, kinda. And on the other hand, there's no direct result you see, like the swarm is always following you or so. The position is tracked by a grid of infrared light barriers. You can actually see them from the outside. Those little boards are the light barriers. 18 of these sensors permanently stare into the darkness of the space, just wait for the visitor to cross their sight. With that number, 18 of barriers, the resolution is 77 centimeters, and that's reasonably enough for us. We don't rely on high accuracy position tracking. The barriers then are connected to Arduino boards. These are little programmable controller boards that can communicate with the computer, and they send all those signals, and also the body signals from the program we saw before. They send it to the T3H communicator, the central communication part Christian will explain.